Seems like even when I'm on time, I'm not really on time. Am I? Maybe I'll try coming in here 10 minutes early, which I was, but then somehow it was ended up being only 7 minutes early, and then 5 minutes before I actually started the stream. Kind of annoying, but whatever. We'll get some stuff done. We'll get some work, some game done. Okay, let's open this guy up here and okay, so I'm going to hopefully actually do the Princess Prep story beat. So we'll have, let's see, um, the last thing I discussed with ChatGPT was the here. Let's just go to web. Let's just go to desktop. Okay, there I am. Looks so bright over here on my little TV. My little TV doesn't have well, like my monitor has like full HDR and all kinds of cool stuff, and this little TV, even though it's 1080p, its color rendition's pretty dark, pretty not real great. I mean, it's fine. It works fine as a TV at times when you need you don't have power and stuff. Um, but I'm using it as a secondary monitor. But my face looks all blown out, partly because the lights are on and because of the way this thing renders. Um, okay. Anyways, it's kind of cool to get actually the full five viewers that I get on part one. Usually, part one is there's less, and then I get the five or more on the part two because the part two is the programming part, and this is more or less the story part. It's still actually the game part, the actual game part. But anywho, so uh, the way okay, let's just pull up Redot here, and apparently yesterday was Redot's first birthday, I guess, and I guess they just released 4.4 beta. So um, I believe we've been working off of 4.3. I keep going. Were we working on 4.3 because they came out with Godot 4.5 just recently? So I'm just a little bit, a little bit off. But yeah, we have been working with 4.3, Redot 4.3, I believe. Here, let's go to favorites. Redot, yeah, 4.3, right? Anyways, 4.4 has gone stable, even though Godot is up to 4.5. But that means that there probably should be some improvements in there. We'll see. We'll see if it's easy to convert. And I'll probably, I don't know, probably sometime. I don't know if I may. I think I'll wait till it gets a stable release. So it's just on beta now. So that means it won't be long till it gets to stable. So maybe a few months. I don't know. But anywho, let's go to our friend, the 2D workspace. And okay, let's pull that up, right? And this is all it says here. Um, so we'll have a couple of things that we'll do. I'll have several pages in here. So the first one is getting into the headmistress's office. Now, um, I was thinking maybe there might would be a door to the courtyard because her office faces the courtyard. And there's this kind of bay window there, and of course it's shuttered up. I don't know how you shutter bay windows. Do you shutter bay windows? I don't know. I don't know anything about architecture or anything like that. Um, it's an interesting question to ask, isn't it? Yeah, let's open a new browser window, and we'll have to pull that over onto the workspace here, onto the main deal. Uh, how do you shutter bay windows? See what happens. Shutters for bay windows. Let's just go to images. I just want to know because it's not one of those things where like it doesn't happen. You know it happens. You know they have stuff to do that. But how does that work? And this all looks like it's um, yeah, okay. So those are regular shutters, like the kind that you put on the inside, right? Instead of a curtain, you put shutters. Um, I was thinking about externally. Let's see something here. Let's go back. Let's see. How do you? External. We'll do that. It's possible to install external shutters on bay windows, although it requires custom solution to the window's unique shape and angles. And get tailored approaches are necessary. Custom solutions such as external roller shutters available. Um, Interesting. I never thought about that before. You know, maybe it would look cool, but maybe bay window would not be here. Actually, let's here, let me refresh restream over here because it's actually there we go. Out of sync, out of date, whatever. I'm gonna test the chat via restream. Testing restream chat. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Doggone it. Well, I can't stop the stream now. Here, I'll show you real quick. If you notice there's that little X. This is the restream uh, window browser. So uh, that means I have to do a reconnect or something on it later on. It is actually streaming for sure because you can see it here. This is on YouTube, but that means the chat's not working. That means if I want to look at the chat, I have to separate out the stupid windows. Okay, we'll do that. Wait. Yeah, we'll drag that out. We'll drag. Oh, fine. We'll drag this out too. And we'll drag this out. I can probably minimize the actual restream window here. And here, let's put this. This is the actual deal. Just a second. I'm rearranging my browser windows so that I can see both the Rumble and the YouTube chat. I don't know if I should be saying the name, you know, Rumble when I'm streaming on YouTube, but I guess I'll do it anyways. Uh, okay. I just wanted the most narrow. Yes, let's bring that down. And then, wait, oh, this is the YouTube one. Wait a second. Doggone it. There we go. Um, just a Here, I can just leave it like that. Let me look at the. Hold on a second. Um, and I want. We'll go ahead and put big red over mean green. There we go. Just give me a sec. And how can I tell how many are watching there? Just two on the one and then one on the other. Okay. So restream chat only working on Rumble today. But I'll be using Rumble browser window for chat. Really, it'd be nice if I could get a plugin for OBS that allows me to do all the chat through OBS. The only problem is I don't have the newest version. I got an old version 29 of OBS because I'm running LMDE or Linux Mint Debian edition, which runs on Debian Bookworm 12. It's not even running on 13 because it's not the newest version of LMDE. And Bookworm, the new one, I forget what the new one's called. But the Debian 13 is out now, but Linux Mint hasn't gotten to releasing LMDE 7 yet. I'm still on 6. So, and I can't update my NVIDIA drivers without being a big pain in the butt. Hopefully, my drivers would be updated if when I get to LMDE 7, but I don't even know if that's going to be the case either. I might have to do some gymnastics just to do that. Anyways, since Restream chat is not working for YouTube, I'm just using the browser window directly. So, pardon me for that, everyone. And, okay. So let's just go back to what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, now back to this. Okay, so this is one of the logic things that pop up, you know. I mean, I could if I was drawing a picture, say for a background, and I drew a bay window in, I could draw a bay window in. I could draw boards over the top. I don't necessarily need to worry about logic or modern architecture or whatever. But to shutter a bay window, usually it's from the inside, right? You have blinds instead or whatever. You don't usually shutter externally. You shutter internally because of the unique shape. And um, yeah, of course, medieval times never had like glass windows and stuff. I mean, eventually, like I don't even know. Let's see something here. Whoop. Uh, about what time did people start having full glass windows on their houses and or buildings? Like what time in history? The Romans were first known to civilization use glass for windows around the 1st century. Although the glass was of poor quality, uneven thickness, and only allowed some light to pass through. Glass windows remain a luxury, primarily found in churches, cathedrals, and homes of the wealthy, often made from small imperfect panes held together by lead cames. I don't know how you pronounce that. It was until the early 17th century 1600s. Glass windows became more common in homes, particularly in England, making a shift from being a luxury item to a more standard feature in domestic architecture. Um, hmm. First known to use glass for windows. Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Um, when were bay windows invented? I just, I'm just asking the AI because it's just kind of a quickie thing. It'll go through the search, and bay windows originated in the late 15th to early 17th century during the English Renaissance, where they were commonly featured in grand houses and mansions, often in great halls. Um, Early versions known as Oriel windows projected from the upper floors without touching the ground and were primarily ornamental. Bay windows became more widespread Victorian and Edwardian eras. Interesting. Okay. Um. Okay. So let's pull up. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up ChatGPT because you know I was gonna use it. uh. Okay. So still only 3 people watching. That's all right. Uh. Actually, where I minimized restream, didn't I? Let's keep the restream. The restream at least will give me an idea of how many people are. Let's pull this up. Of how many people are watching currently, because I have to switch in between windows. It's got to be a better way of doing this. Like I said, if I was able to install a newer version of OBS, I would. And there was a what did they call that? What do they call that with Linux? Were you able to install like a version of Linux, so to speak? It's actually it's using everything in your current Linux. That wouldn't use a different video card though, would it? What do they call that? It's not an emulator. It's I forget what it's called. Um, Let me check something here. Let's go to YouTube. Linux. Um, oh, that's right. It's this one. Install DaVinci Resolve on any Linux distro. And what do they call that? I'm not gonna actually show the video here. Uh, what do they call that? Oh, dependencies for Resolve. AMD GPU, NVIDIA GPU. Oh, DistroBox, that's right. Because I might be able to use DistroBox maybe to. Hmm, here, let me get it. What is DistroBox? Because it almost sounds like an emulator for a Linux distribution, sort of. It's not an emulator, I know, but I'm just saying, as far as the way it works. Allows users to run any Linux distribution inside their terminal by creating a tightly integrated container using Podman, Docker, or LilyPod as the underlying container runtime. It enables users to leverage the software and package ecosystems of different distributions without requiring root privileges, making it ideal for trying new software, managing development environments, or working on immutable Linux distributions where a writable user space is needed. Provide seamless integration with the host system, allowing access to the user's home directory, external storage, USB devices, graphical applications, audio dbus, and system services like systemd. This integration is achieved by sharing key system components such as deb, syst, fs, IPC. Okay, yeah, I don't know any of that stuff. User-friendly wrapper around container technologies. Um, see, I don't know if it like doesn't if it uses your existing drivers or uh, if or what you my guess is that you're installing everything for a particular distribution. So I could use a different Linux distribution. And so whatever distribution you want, whatever version of software you want from those distributions, create little dev environments and whatnot. That's what they're great for. It is possible to have entire user environments dedicated to them. So if you want a stable minimal desktop distribution like there, but there are but are Arch fan, then you can use both at the same time for services like this. Huh. Uh, so um, there was a tutorial showing me how to run DaVinci Resolve using DistroBox to use the most appropriate distro of Linux for DaVinci Resolve. And in the what are you, video creator? What do you call that? Opinion of videos creator. I think it was Red Hat. I think he said Red Hat. I'm not sure. Um, you get Red Hat for free. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. It's just so if I needed to use a certain piece of software that only runs on another distro, I could use this box. Um, is that correct? I know it's correct. I want the AI to reply to me. So before I actually, here we go. Okay. Come on, come on. Okay. Where is the scroll bar over here? My audio is on, isn't it? Right? Yeah. Okay. I just gotta make sure. Just making sure that whoever is listening to me can actually listen to me. Okay. All right. Allows you to run software designed for a specific Linux distribution, like which might be best for Red Hat or Fedora. Would be it would be it would be Fedora, right? Fedora is actually the Linux distro by Red Hat. Red Hat's the company that makes the official distribution. Okay, it's Fedora, I think. I don't remember exactly what he said. It's something like that. You can install and run the application inside this container while maintaining CMS. Um, okay. So, it would use your existing. Let's see. Would it be possible to install different GPU drivers um, in another distro using DistroBox? Because I can't run newer versions of OBS without updated graphics drivers, and I'm running LMDE 6, which is using Debian 12 bookworm, and it's a big pain in the neck to try to update my graphics drivers. I'm running a RTX 3080 Ti. Uh, uh, and thus, but I can't utilize it on my current system. I was thinking maybe if I used another distro via distro box, I could have updated drivers in that and run OBS from that. You cannot install different GPUs inside DistroBox container to make them work with your GPU drivers, especially NVIDIA's operated at the kernel level, must be installed and running on on the host system. A container cannot load its own kernel modules. Can use the host's existing GPU drivers of the container. Yeah. Well, I don't need it, at least for not for OBS anyways. Yeah. Okay, I guess I'm out of luck for now then. So I either go through the rigmarole of attempting to update my drivers in LMDE 6, or wait until possibly LMDE 7 gets released. Who knows when that will be? Or literally install a different version of Linux on my main system, which requires backing up data, creating space, and or wiping my main drive to install an alternate version of Linux. Okay. Sufficient to update the NVIDIA drivers on your LMD 6 Once the correct driver is installed in the host distro box, can run a container with a new version of OBS. Yeah. That's dumb. I'll be able to install a new version of OBS if I am able to update my drivers. Uh, I don't need distro box because once I've got newer CPU drivers, then I can install the newer versions of OBS. Lightning non-free firmware repositories are enabled. They're usually by default LD run used to verify. Um, it does have to do with driver versions. Um, sudo apt install NVIDIA driver firmware mix non-free will install the latest versions. Will it? Okay, let me do the here. Let's open the terminal. Yeah, sorry, I'm not working on the game, so I guess I don't know if that's affecting how people that are watching. But I won't do the thing. I won't update stuff here in just a sec. I'm just figuring this out though. GLX info dash D um should tell me what. Yeah, 535. We're running driver version 535. Four, 7, .01, .01. I think I need I think the later versions that will run is something like 570. Not sure about that because I don't have the specs in front of me. No, will not install driver version. The standard Debian 12 repositories. Of course, that's what I'm talking about. You can add NVIDIA's official repository, install newer drivers like 570. This is not the standard method and could sometimes cause compatibility. Recommended stable approach. uh, it's not sufficient for running modern versions of OBS. I can't run anything newer than 31, OBS 31, and they're up to 32 something. Okay, I need to stop arguing with the stupid AI. Anyways, apologies, everyone. Okay. All right. exceeds the minimum requirement for OBS. The standard repositories only go up to 29, which is what I'm using. OBS 32 would not run, and the issue was I needed to update my driver version. What NVIDIA driver version do I need in Linux for OBS 32? This doesn't know. Let's see. OBS forums. I know I couldn't do it before. Huh. Linux. Flatpak, FlatHub, officially distributed. I don't know. Maybe it's saying doing a Flatpak, and I was doing it from official distributions. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I could. I'll do this later. Sorry about that. Uh, I know I'm supposed to be working on my game, and okay. I'll look into because what I'm using is I'm using the Debian standard Debian repository for OBS 29. I forgot you can have multiple versions of software, so maybe what I'll try to do is I'll try to I think I had it on Flatpak originally, and I was trying to import some like settings and stuff, and it wasn't working, and I kind of ruined something, and so I had to revert, and I was trying to install. But I could try with running it with installing the Flatpak version and then trying to run it. And if it works, then great. I can use the later version of OBS. I have to reset everything up, but I can do that. And I can do that with the existing version the way it already works. So that way I can see if I can use newer version, I guess. Right? Okay, so what time is it? 12:18. I wasted a lot of time. Apologies for anybody that's listening or watching. Because I'm supposed to be working on my game. Okay, so we'll pull this conversation up, and we'll see. And this is kind of interesting too. Now I use a black background, so whenever you pop up like the gear, the bar and everything, one thing that annoys me on YouTube videos, a lot of these any of these creators on here don't even take into account the bar down there, at least on YouTube. Rumble, I think, has a similar bar. Let's see, it does have a similar bar. So, honestly, should probably um, make use of the bar by putting uh, by shrinking down, or somehow doing a contrasty thing, or even just putting up something in front of the bottom of it. But I also have to make sure that I'd have to make sure that everything was in view, wasn't behind the little barrier thing. But I could possibly do that. I could possibly just do an overlay that's just straight up black, so that you could see your video bar there. The one thing that always annoys is you're trying to find how much time is left, or you're trying to find the settings icon or whatever, and you can't see it because there's so much crap on the screen that you can't see the bar very well. So I might start thinking about that pretty soon. Okay. Okay, so one thing I never figured is you don't really externally shutter a Windows. Um, Now, we're presuming someone nailed boards over the top, but since it's not flat, then um, boards might not be efficient. Efficient is not really the word I'm appropriate. Might be appropriate. Do I change the window type? Do I remove the window? I was thinking if you're facing a courtyard, you might want a door directly to it. Um, which has to be locked or boarded up as well. It's just all these little things that you have to consider. You know, it's one of those weird things. It's like in movies and stuff and books, right? Because basically you have to create everything. You're creating everything. You're creating inside and outside, you're creating their dialogue, you're creating their actions, you're creating their clothes. I mean, that's why it's like collaborative. And even when you're doing a book, you're just doing a book by yourself. You're uh, as much detail as you put into it, you have to put in every detail. So you consciously make a choice. That's why the thing like swear words, you probably don't necessarily care about swear words in movies, but if you did care about swear words in movies, and you're kind of going, well, they just said that. Well, no, they didn't just say that. They actually had to think of that. They had to think of it, had to write it out, and it's a conscious effort. You know, it's a conscious effort to put um, you know, uh, obscene stuff on the screen. Okay, you maybe don't consider like sex scenes and nudity and you know gore and whatever as being obscene or whatever. Maybe you're cool with that. That's not really what I'm saying. All I'm saying is if you're a person that does care about it, nothing in any created media is off the cuff. Nothing is yeah, somebody might ad lib something, you know, and might say something funny and they might leave it in. But for the most part, everything you do is thought over, is poured over. They do designs. They have to have the right architecture if you're doing time period. They have to have the right, um, you know, you have to have the right stuff for a time period. You have to have, if you're gonna make a kid's messy bedroom, uh, somebody has to make that kid's messy bedroom. It's not a kid just generically doing that. Although, not that you couldn't tell a kid, now go and I want you to live in this room for a couple of days and just do what you normally do. If you throw clothes on the floor, throw them on the floor. If you fold them up, fold them up. I mean, you could actually tell an actor to do this thing, like it would be like a method acting thing where you tell them to, you know, we want this to be like organic, like something that would really happen. But for the most part, you have to think up everything. So when I'm thinking up the story stuff, and I'm thinking up of, especially, it's going to eventually be visual, and I still have to describe it because I have to think about, you have to think about where things are in like a layout, and then you also have to, um, hold on here. Let me switch this. Um, you also have to, you have to think of your architecture. You have to think of, now I can do modern architecture. It's not going to be modern architecture though. It's going to be like medieval, or it doesn't have to necessarily be medieval, but like old, like 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. It could be 1200s. I mean, all I mean is going back to medieval times, but it doesn't necessarily have to have medieval times because the time is whatever the current date is, contemporary date. And even though I'm thinking of setting it in like the 80s or 90s because that's my go-to, you know, my favorite year, 1985, Back to the Future came out, right? And I like 80s bands, and in general, I like the 80s stuff mostly. And then, of course, I was in high school in the 90s, and then I graduated in 1994, and then ever since then, I haven't been with people. I know it seems kind of weird, but uh, I didn't go to college or university as some Canadians or UKers would say, but I never went to college. I only had like one job since high school. I didn't have a job in high school either, but I'm just meant when I got out of high school, I worked at a post office, a small tiny town in Oregon called Boring. And yes, it's actually called Boring. But it was a post office, and I did that for about 8 months, and that's about really the only job I've had. And so, and I didn't have that many friends to start with, and I certainly didn't have that many afterwards, and so I've been relatively sheltered. So my memories or my interaction with the outside world is purely through like social media, TV. Back when we were watching TV, now we watch just YouTube. And even though we might be up to date on current news, uh, I don't know the slang the kids use. In fact, I watched a video where it's like Generation Alpha or whatever the new young kids, right? Um, uh, after so that what anyways, so the generation after Gen Z or whatever, right? It's millennials, then it's Gen Z, then it's like what do they call it, Gen Alpha or something. Where they were talking about they were saying some slang words that their peers know. And these are like 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids, and I'm just like, what in the heck? What kind of And I've seen some slang terms and stuff, some modern day slang terms and some things. Not a lot, but a few. And it's just like I don't even know how to connect with anybody in today's age, really. That's why I watch nothing but old movies and old TV shows and listen to old music and whatever. I don't even know what new music is. And when I do listen to new music, and I do listen to a few things occasionally, it'd be like synthwave or whatever. It'd be like 80s inspired music, or chip tunes or something. And that's not like modern day, like you hear on the radio. So I really don't have a framework, a modern framework of how people think or act or anything exactly. I'm not so totally foreign. You know, it's not like I'm an alien that just deposited into some new planet and I have to deal with everything. It's like um you know it's like, what have you been living under a rock? Kind of been living under a rock, sort of so to speak. So more than likely I'll be setting my game, at least from John's perspective. I'll be setting my game in like the 80s, maybe early 90s. It kind of depends. I might uh and you probably won't see a lot of, I don't I don't know. There won't be a lot of reference because you're not going to spend a lot of time in our realm actually. So it's just going to be like a mostly kind of a vague, basic setup. You might see a dial phone, you might see a touch tone phone. It'd be touch tone, obviously, but you'd see a telephone in the house. You'd see an old style computer. You won't have smartphones. That sort of thing. There's no social media. Um, but I don't even think I'll be doing that much. You might see his room. You might see a TV that looks like an old CRT TV or whatever. It doesn't really matter that much because it's not going to be that big of a deal. So when I say contemporary, I mean contemporary to whatever the latest year in the story is, which I haven't really decided yet. But I know it's not going to be modern like right now, like not no cell phones or anything like that. But so yeah, when I say modern contemporary, I mean probably late 80s maybe, or somewhere early 90s, or maybe ambiguous, but the tech is just from then. It's not modern tech, right? Anyways, so it's going to be contemporary time setting, but the kingdom, the Enchanted Lands kingdom. In fact, I don't even know what I call. I didn't really even have a name for the kingdom. I call it Enchanted Lands because it's called Enchanted Lands Magical Resort. I don't really have a backstory as far as the actual original name before it became a tourist resort. So I don't have that yet. I have to create it, I guess. So, anyways, um, the styles and things are going to be ancient, like almost medieval, depending on what it is. Like in the hotel, there's a dumbwaiter, but dumbwaiters weren't really a thing until like the early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. You know, uh, in a castle. Then now they did have a some sort of elevator type of deal to be able to send things up and down through the different castle floors, right? They had a deal that used an animal to pull a wheel that actually pulls a rope that pulls up you know, if they needed to move stuff into a high room or whatever. But for the most part, they weren't there. But I'm putting it in anyways because we got all the way back. We got all time periods pretty much. From medieval time periods to almost modern day kind of thing. So, anyways, I'm not even sure why I went off on that. I had something to do with the bay windows because bay windows, even though they've had them in since the 1600s, um, I don't know if it's appropriate, but so I have to think of all these things. Anyways, these things just keep popping up and going. This wouldn't be logical. Okay, I got to do this. This wouldn't be logical. I got to do this. So, and it looks like I probably won't get done again today because I'm wasting my time. Just talking, saying stuff. Hopefully, you guys like me talking or whatever, but apparently not because now I only have one viewer from each Rumble and YouTube. So, anyways, let's get back to the story. Um, see here. Grok can keep track of the time and date a lot better than ChatGPT can, I've noticed. That's really good, Chess. But I usually decorative and jet outwards, so nailing boards across them from the outside would be awkward and look kind of janky unless the boards are cut specifically angles. Wouldn't feel natural unless you really wanted to lean into hastily boarded up vibes. That's kind of true, right? You have the deal. So what do? They just put boards all over it, and they don't care if it looks good or whatever. They only just care if you can get into it or not, you know. And even then, it's kind of sloppy and kind of hastily put together. So maybe I could just do it anyways. Slop it to a tall, narrow, arched window. Fits the castle aesthetic, easier to board or shutter, and still dramatic. Narrow arch window. Make it door instead. Door or courtyard exit makes sense architecturally. It can be locked, chain, barred, or magic. Seal it gives more puzzle hooks. Keep the bay but seal it differently. Instead of planks, maybe iron bars are installed like a security measure or heavy curtain magically held in place. Why is this weird choice intrigue? Ditch the window entirely, wall it up from the outside, maybe mismatched stone brick. Someone didn't want this open anymore. It could even be tied to mystery who bricked it up and why. Feeling towards puzzles, a door or barred window is the richest options. I suppose. So this was a school. Basically, before becoming a tourist resort, each of the schools were campuses of let's call it Enchanted University. Which means it was a real university. It was a real college. Princess Prep being Princess Preparatory I got it. How do you spell preparatory? Preparatory, of course. Preparatory. Academy. Is essentially Princess campus of Enchanted U. I could just turn it into a large flat window. A large wide flat window, possibly. It's always like, want me to do this? Want me to do that? No, I'm asking a question, and that's what I want you to do. I don't want you to do this other stuff unless I ask it, right? That helps us. I'm thinking of it less like Fantasy Castle's grand throne window, more like campus building window. It gives you a lot more leeway to make it practical rather than ornate. As a converted college campus building, and then a large makes total sense. The university loves big windows looking out on the courtyards. Professors like their sunlight and their view of students scurrying around. A bay window would be unusual on school administrator, too homey or fancy, unless it was a particularly lavish office. A door to the courtyard would also make sense, making less common unless the headmistress office was intentionally designed as a kind of semi-private patio office. So if you go with a big flat window, boarding up is straightforward. Planks across horizontally, nailed it into stone wood frame. Still looks natural in a campus setting, maybe even symmetrical if there are other offices with similar windows. Puzzle-wise, you could try playing the planks, jamming the window latch, or even squeezing through if part of it's broken. If you want to preserve the bay window imagery, you could justify it by saying Princess Bride was deliberately built fancier than other campuses. Of course, the princess has got the ornate architecture and the ivy-covered bay windows and fancy trim. That's not a bad idea, actually. So this is what I was saying. I don't want to take a lot of the ideas from the AI, but at times it has good ideas that kind of fit right in with the game. That would be a thing, right? The princesses get all the fancy stuff, right? And the rest of us don't. The night school and Wizard University and Fairy Guy College. Faculty saw office flat window pictorialism. Wide flat window with a shallow outward curve, not a full bay, but still Disney. Yeah. Um. What are other types of windows that extend past the wall that aren't necessarily? Oh, oh, doggone it. Oh, okay, yeah. Anyways, all right. NECBSS. I don't know. I don't usually have trouble with that word, but sometimes that aren't necessarily bay windows per se. I mean, there are because they do have flat ones that just extend. Good question. Handful of window styles that jet out from the wall but aren't technically bay windows. Each has its own flavor, could fit differently depending on what you want: academic architecture, princess luxury, a bow or bow window. With a gentler curve made of several panels instead of angled ones. Oriel window, projecting bay window that doesn't touch the ground, cantilevered out, supported by brackets or corbels. Historically used in castles and manors. If you want a slightly fancier old world academic look, box window. Simpler rectangular projection. Imagine a mini greenhouse box sticking out from the wall, not angled or curved, just straight out. It could feel more functional than decorative while still distinct from a flat window. Greenhouse garden window, shallow projection, uh, turret window. Uh, what is that? A bow or bow window? Oh, I see. It is curved bay window. Oh, bow window versus bay window. Oh, that might be a thing, right? Because here we'll go to this one. Expand your office space on bow window, explore the difference. Bay windows consist of 3 windows that are more angular, while bow windows have 4 or more windows, creating a subtle curve. Both window types expand space. Number of windows. I see. Okay. And honestly, I didn't think about that either. A bay window has the 2 angled sides, and then it's got the one in front, the flat in front. You can easily board up. I didn't think about that either. That's actually okay. Bay window consists of 3 windows, typically featuring a central fixed picture window flanked by 2 angled side windows, creating more angular protruding design that extends further from the home's exterior. A bow window uh, comprises or bow window. You can say bow window because it's like a bow, right? Bow window comprises 4 or more equal-sized windows arranged in a gentle, continuous curve, resulting in shallower, more flowing projection. Okay, so now what's the one thing that said an Oriole? It's an Oriole window. Ah, hmm. So they're rounded, huh? Oh, they don't. They're not necessarily rounded, are they? Versus bay versus bay window. But does not extend down to the ground floor. Oh, so I see. Can't delete your design. Huh. 5 types of bay windows. Oh, not there. Too bad. Not reach the ground. Okay. Canted bay windows. Canted bay windows are mostly found in traditional Victorian style homes, resemble bay windows, but instead of being straight or inclined, it's a series of flat panels that are curved to form a smooth curve. You need to show pictures when you're showing different versions. Just gonna show it picture. Different styles. Bay windows are once considered chiefly ornamental, deliberately chose providing extra space. Okay. Maybe they're different varieties. Canted. The canted bay windows have the traditional shape that most people associate with bay windows. They're often used in colonial style homes where both nearly any style feature flat front with dual angled sides. They're generally only found on the first level of homes. Okay. Box bay windows. Might do a box. I might still do a box. I don't know. But the fact that it's a princess school means it might be a little bit ornate, maybe. Can't the bay windows have traditional? Okay, right. And actually, this one seems to have four, and of course, it goes down to the whatever that awning is, or whatever you're gonna call it. Similar to a canted window in nearly every respect, with the only difference being the flanking windows on the side are joined to the front window using a 90-degree angle that gives the bay window a box shape. Oriel windows is the oldest type of bay window, first made its mark in sprawling mansions in the time of English Renaissance. And then comes the Latin term for porch. These windows are built into the side of the home and do not touch the ground. As a result, they can be used on any story. Unlike other types of bay windows generally confined to the ground floor, Orient windows get structural support from decorative brackets or corbels of stone, masonry, or wood beneath the window. Interesting. Circle. I didn't know there was circle bay. And then there's Michael Bay windows that explode out in a fury of flame of fire and breaking glass. Another type of bay window that can be found on some homes is a circle bay window, characterized by bigger panes of glass on the sides, extra panes above the windows. Uh, they can extend from the house in circular fashion. Four main types are main depths determined with modern bay windows, craftsman bay, Victorian bay windows. What does it mean, canted? Anyways, I don't know what canted means. Speaking in a whining tone of voice, using technical or religious terms effectively. Can't. Yeah, like a canter. That's not what I'm talking about. But slanting or tilted position, where windows set at an angle rather being vertically or horizontally aligned. Any oblique angle or inclination in construction elements. Okay. Okay, so I did a web search, and apparently Oriels are bay windows that essentially don't touch the ground. Regular bay windows will all touch the ground, which means they're only on the first floor if there are multiple floors. As far as I can tell, the bow window just means more than 3 windows that are that give it a gradual, more rounded shape. Being that more sides can represent a curve better. Represent a curve better. So you can either do the box window. Now the box window, Okay. Bay window. Any window that projects outward, usually in three sections, angled, traditionally extends to the ground on the first floor. Modern versions can float. Well, I mean, they're not supposed to float. Then they'd be an Oreo window. An Oreo window means that its support is not from the ground or from the main support of the house. It's actually supported by corbels, which I'm not even sure what corbels are, but basically supports. Uh, bow window, same with four plus section and projection curved instead of angled. Bow window, a bay that's suspended above ground level, supported by corbels slash brackets, a classic in Gothic academic Elizabethan architecture. So yeah, bay is a kind of an umbrella term, bow or flavors of it. Um, let's see some here. Uh, Oldest colleges in the world. Um, let's check images here. It's like even that. So they face a courtyard, right? And so one of these could be an office. Doesn't mean that any of these are offices, but hmm, interesting. And a lot of these just have just straight up windows, which I mean, I could do that. I could do straight up windows, right? Why is that not showing up? Oh, there we go. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. It's tilted. It looks like one of those like 360 deals. And you could just have a window. Am I right? You just make it a regular window. College colleges in the states. That's a little bit different, but being depending on how old they are, can still look all right. A lot of those are just have standard windows in them. Obviously, depending on how old they are, they may or may not have like windows like this. But how about in England? Oldest colleges in, oh darn it, England, in jolly old England. Universities in Europe. I know it's in Europe, but that's not what I just I want to look at. Cambridge. Very interesting. See, my time's already up, and I didn't do anything today on the game part. I mean, I kind of did, sort of. That's kind of cool looking. What is that one? A lot of these don't typically have like, well, that's a window there. Some of these are actually windows, and those are doors. So that makes sense. I mean, I don't know, it makes sense to actually have a regular window, I guess. Uh, it doesn't have to be that all. In fact, it could just be a standard window. I looked at images of old colleges, and a lot of them didn't have windows on the ground floor primarily, but several did, and they were just standard double paned windows. I mean, they wouldn't be standard like I have in my house, but they'd be treated the ground floor is kind of fortress like stone walls, minimal windows. Floors got more light, taller, fancier windows. The reason will give her a slightly larger picture style window, so she can gaze dramatically at the courtyard while pondering the mysteries of royal pedagogy. Picture window is much easier for John to possibly break into. I think. Um, yeah, it could just be a standard, maybe wider than normal picture window. Okay, but my time is up for today, so we'll have to pick this up for tomorrow. And I won't put maybe she has like a corner office and it's over here and your main doors are like over here. So she would literally have to leave her office, go down the hallway, go to the doors, uh, and wouldn't necessarily have access to a door directly from her office. I'll have to pick this up tomorrow. Thanks. Um, let's see. The bay window is now a wide picture window that you can look out on the courtyard of the school. Um, there's no door to the courtyard, so she would have to go down the hallway to the doors. I guess I'll just leave it like that. A door makes sense. I mean, I'd have a door installed to go directly to the courtyard if I wanted to get there quicker without actually having to go through. So I'm not sure. Um, Might still do a door, possibly. Okay, we're going to save that, and I'm going to count that, and we are going to worry about the layout tool. Maybe I'll just continue on. Maybe I won't worry about the saving stuff until I get the click drag and stuff working, the box select. Okay, anyways, so yeah, thanks for sticking with me for see, where's the restream at? Thanks for sticking with me for this, even though I didn't get much done, like usual. Unfortunately, whatever. We'll get it. We'll get to it. We'll get it done. We'll get it. We'll get it done. So yeah, see me in an hour if you're interested in seeing me work on the layout tool. So again, thanks for watching part 2 and or part 1, and I'll see you in part 2. Thank you for watching part 2. Thanks for watching part 1, not part 2.